Hey, I'm Jacob Sørensen and you're watching NR1 Live. Good afternoon and welcome to NR1 Live and arriving at Carrow Road. There's Mark Robbins, you may have recognised, and there he is donning the walls of Carrow Road, a former player here of course. scoring plenty of goals. And the big news today is might be some faces you don't quite recognise in the squad today. All of those 5 lads involved in the 23s. And of course, Michael McGovern starting today from the news that Tim Krul misses out for around about 3 weeks with the thigh injury that he's picked up over the last couple of weeks. So a big opportunity for him today. And this is what else is coming up on today's show. On the gantry, we've got Darren Huckabee giving us his views. In the Barclay, we've got Adam Drury. And of course, we catch up with our teammates again. Jakob Sorensen gives us the lowdown on his teammates, and that'll be roughly about half-time. And of course, we've got all the team news coming up. And Rob, one of the big talking point is the squad today, of course. We looked at those 5 young lads involved there today. We know 1 or 2 of them pretty well from working with them at Langley School. Great opportunity for the young lads now. As much as you don't want to see injuries in the squad, but great opportunity for those younger lads.
It is, and I think it's great that you're seeing them on the bench. You'd be worried if they were in the starting lineup, but it just goes to show they have got an injury problem. But the team that Norwich have put out today is still pretty strong in terms of individuals and what they've done, but to have those 5 lads on the bench is a fantastic experience for them, and it gives them an opportunity. If they do go on the pitch, they're going to be coming into a successful team, not struggling at the bottom, but at the top, and hopefully they can do themselves justice.
Do you reckon they've got their own little WhatsApp group? There's little 5 together. They must have done, mustn't they? Last night when they found out, or in the last couple of days when they found out they're in the squad, they must have been thinking, let's set our own little WhatsApp group. But a great opportunity. But is it very different, the kind of, if any of these lads get an opportunity today, is it very different having a debut in these circumstances? Because there is no fans here, so it's not like there's 27,000 people here watching today. Is it an easier step for them to make?
Probably. I mean, like I say, they'll have nerves. Well, if they don't have nerves, I'll be pretty worried because, like I say, it is a great opportunity for them. And like I say, it's more like it's like a free hit for Norwich, really. Let's go and put these kids on the bench. Yeah, I mean, we're top of the league. We've got a home game against Coventry, who we'd like to think we can win. You know what I mean? Like, so let's put these kids on, hopefully in later stages of the game. Let them experience the first team environment, first team sort of like the pace of the game and whatever. Like, I mean, so it's sort of like a free hit for Daniel now to see what these guys are made of in a first team environment. Yeah, it would be great if the fans were here, but like I say, the nerves would be even bigger then. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, we've said before, there's no fans. Just go out and show us what you can do.
Would you expect to see any of them make an appearance today? Is it purely down to how the game is going and what the result is? Because, you know, they still at the top of the table. They want to maintain where they are. So is it almost difficult to throw them in when they are top of the league?
Yeah, early in the game, I mean, Daniel would be thinking like, well, let's get 1-2-0 up or whatever, like, or even 1-0 up towards the latter stages of the game. I mean, I think in the scheme of things, what Norwich have done over the last like 3 or 4 weeks, the away performance and the results they've had are brilliant. Daniel will be looking at this game today and say, listen, we don't want to lose it. We want to keep the momentum. We want to keep the unbeaten run going as well. Like, you know what I mean? So to put one of these on, I think he will. You know what I mean? I only know one of them, like Tyrese, who was from like Langley School. He's been doing fantastically well in that trophy, the EFL trophy, whatever it's called. Like, he scored a hat-trick against Newport not so long ago. He's a goal scorer. He's a natural goal scorer. If Norwich need goals at the end of the game, put him on. Put him on. He's going to play without fear. He's going to have so much enthusiasm, and we all know he's a goal scorer.
And he's 17, I believe, isn't he? I mean, imagine being 17 again, having that feeling, making your debut again, Rob. How old were you when you made your debut?
I was 18.
18, yes. Me too. So a great opportunity for him today. But we can take a look at the injury list that Norwich have got. It's pretty lengthy. You can add Lucas Rupp to that as well, who's missed out. We didn't have time to put him on there because we weren't sure if he's going to be available today. He finds out he's not. Of course, that's another one. But I mean, that's some team that's
a team
out at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that just shows probably, like, and you say that the team we have got today, and we can take a look at the lineup for Norwich today as well. You know, they've still got a decent side, and the most important parts within any team that you're talking kind of centrally, aren't you? I know we're missing, you know, a centre forward today, and Steepman's stepping up to which we'll talk about in a minute, but centrally, defensively, Gibson and Hanley, you know, Aarons and Sorensen, that's a pretty stable back four, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've been doing fantastically well over the last 3 or 4 games, or all season. You know, I mean, the goals conceded, I don't know what the goals conceded column is, but it's been pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So to have a stable back four, again, we're saying Sorensen as a left back, he's a right-footed midfield player. But how well is he doing at left back? It's unbelievable. Skip and Tetty did so well against Stoke on Tuesday. They're solid pros. They're solid pros, and to have a base there. And okay, you've got a new goalkeeper, But you've got an international goalkeeper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who's sort of like, he's been around the block, he's experienced as well. He's not like a throw-in like one of them young ones, and he's not a young goalkeeper, he's an experienced goalkeeper.
Well, Coventry in a position today where they're having to do the same thing. They've got an emergency loaning for a goalkeeper, but we haven't. He is, you like say, he is hugely experienced, vastly experienced, not just in the Championship, but in terms of international experience as well. So he shouldn't be nervous, he shouldn't be holding any fear today. And actually having those two giants of central defenders in front of them, that's kind of reassurance for him, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You mean, like I say, him and Gibson, Hanley and Gibson, I think have been fantastic to balls being thrown into the box and well. Like, they head it, they block it, they're throwing themselves at shots and whatever. So it's like, if a goalkeeper comes out and catches it, as a defender, there's nothing better than that. But as a goalkeeper, if you've got two centre-halves that are so dominant when crosses come into the box and they're heading it out and they've got such a physical presence in there, that must be fantastic for a goalkeeper as well.
Well, let's talk about the other end of the pitch, just very quickly as well. Stephenman is filling in at the top of the pitch. It's a big ask, isn't it? But, you know, in our day, lots of players are adaptable, so he should be able to give a performance, you know, do a job, as we say.
Absolutely. I mean, it happened to me in my Walker era. Yeah, I mean, I can remember saying, listen, you need to go and play up front, but I needed to go up and play in front. It wasn't because of injuries, because the ball was coming back too quick. You know what I mean? So that was my reason. But this guy here, it's a necessity, but I think this guy's got it in his locker to do it. You know what I mean? He's a good footballer. You know what I mean? He's done really well in that number 10 area as well. We know he's got the ability on the ball, but he's big enough and he's strong enough, he's aggressive enough as well to be able to match defenders. As long as he holds the ball up and doesn't let it go straight back, you've still got Placetta, you've still got Josh Martin, you know what I mean? And you've got Tetin Skip, who could deliver those balls as well, you know what I mean? So I think he'll do a good job.
Yeah, and we can talk to someone like Adam Drury's in the Barclay for us, who will be able to give the lowdown on the defensive side and how important it is for those to still be structurally sound. And Adam, it's very much a defensive setup for Norwich. Isn't that unusual? So will it make too much difference to them?
No, I don't think so. Three of the back four that are playing are ones you'd call in their regular places, and the way the team's playing at the minute, they'll just want to play game after game. And they're getting to know each other. Obviously the goalie's changed, but Michael McGovern's a full international, so he'll come in and do the job that we all know he can do.
And just in terms of the changing rooms, ads, being involved in that environment, a lot of young lads coming in. There's almost 5 new lads coming in today. A disruptive kind of squad. How disruptive is that to the players that are starting today? Because, you know, you're an experienced pro. You would have seen over the years injuries and pilots, but this is quite the injury list, isn't it? I don't think I've ever seen anything quite so severe as this.
No, it's astonishing, and I think the one thing you've got to say is when you look at the team that's out today, bar the centre forward position, where Stephen probably will have to do a job, it's internationals through the team. They're lads that have trained and waiting for their chance. And I think Teti spoke about it in the week that all the lads, when they train, they're just waiting for their chance. They want to get in the team. They're going into a team that's sitting top of the table, going to win 7 in 9, I think it is, or something like that. So it's not like you're going into a side that's struggling and scratching around. So they should be full of confidence.
And is that important part as well? Is it easier to step into a side that are top of the league than it is to be if they were struggling down the bottom in these circumstances? Surely, you know, and as well, you can look around you now where you are. There's no fans in the stadium. So is it a little bit easier for these younger lads if they do get the opportunity to be able to show what they can do without too much pressure on them?
I think so, especially in a game like today where if the ground was full, obviously when I work in the lounge and you play a team that's just been promoted, you talk in the lounge to the fans and they expect a 3 or 4-0 win against a side that's just come up. So today you get that after 20-25 minutes. If a pass goes astray, there won't be that anxiousness in the ground that sometimes you get. And young lads coming into the team, they'll be going to get on the ball and look to play, and they'll have players in the team that are doing that because things are going their way at the minute.
Yeah, looking at the opposition today, Ads, is it a team that Norwich are still expected to beat at home, considering the injury problems they have got? You look at Norwich's squad, the team starting today, barring maybe one perhaps, I'm not sure there's anybody in Coventry's team I would put in front of anybody at Norwich's.
No, exactly that. I think Huck spoke about it in the week. The squad Norwich have got now is you've got 2 players for every position, and if someone gets injured, unfortunately, someone else comes in to take their chance, and I think they will. I think Norwich shouldn't fear anybody. Yep, you have to give teams respect, but you want to go out and win every game you can in this league, and this gives them another chance today. And someone I'd use as an example would be Max Aarons. 2-3 years ago, he was in the 23s, no one had really heard of him. Through injuries, he got in the side, and he hasn't looked back since.
And is this the first time you've been at Carrow Road since the lockdown? That's the first time you've been able to watch a game?
Yeah, it's the first time you've invited me back.
Hey, we know that's not true. How many opportunities have I been trying to get you to come onto this show, Ads?
Yeah, you may have asked me once or twice, but I've been busy with DIY and stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly, mate. Enjoy the game, and we'll speak to you again at half-time.
It's not bad, thank you.
Look, McGovern, we've mentioned it a few times now, and it's important he comes in, but he is a good player, and we can take a look at some of his stats here, and you know, he's an incredible experienced player, so he shouldn't have any fears of coming to this side, and he'll be able to control his team front. And actually, he's 36 years of age, and I'm hearing in my ear that he's, I think, the oldest player in 35 years to play at 36 since Mickey Shannon. So,
yeah, good.
You know, good stat to have, but that's goalkeepers get better with age, don't they?
6'3". I don't know where 6'3's come from.
So how tall are you?
I'm 6'1.5".
Okay.
I think he's a bit shorter than me.
Do you think so?
I don't know. I'm not stood next to him. If he's
be fair,
6'3", he doesn't look 6'3".
To be fair, I say I'm 5'8".
What I would say about McGovern, and like you say, everyone's looking at McGovern. Oh, he's not Tim Krul. He's not Tim Krul. He's an international goalkeeper. He's an international goalkeeper. He's been at Norwich for a few years now. And Norwich are not silly enough to say, like, listen, we'll just give you a contract just for the sake of it. We're giving him a contract because we think he's a good goalkeeper. We know he's a good backup keeper. He must be a good personality in the dressing room or whatever. He is a good goalkeeper. He played for Northern Ireland 2 weeks ago, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? Like, he's an international player. Yeah. The only thing I worry about McGovern, and I'm no expert to talk on goalkeepers, maybe Gunny would say different, like, you know what I mean? But he just hasn't got that presence. If the ball comes in, he's surrounded by bodies in there, your defenders and the opponent's strikers and whatever. Like, you can't see McGovern. You can see Tim Krul because he's 6'6", 6'5", 6'6". That's my only worry. But in terms of experience, in terms of talking to the back four and whatever, like in terms of knowing what to do with the ball, he should be good enough.
And Coventry have got their own problems. They lost their main goalkeeper during the week, and they've got an emergency loan of Lee Camp, who's playing for them today. Of course, what we know here. So, you know, it's not just Norwich, but like you said with McGovern, he doesn't become a pro and be in this squad who's top of the league in the Championship and be in the Premier League as in the squad without having the ability to be able to cope at this level. So it's a bit like, yeah, Tim Krul was such a massive part of Norwich City and what they've done over the last couple of years, but it's only look, Tim Krul's been so good that he hasn't had an opportunity to play.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'll go back to the fact, Daniel Farke is not a bad manager. He knows if Tim Krul ever got injured, I need a good backup. The fact is that he's been here all the time that Daniel Farke's been here. Daniel Farke trusts in him 100%, and he's got no qualms about putting him in the team today. And as a manager, you've got 2 international goalkeepers. It's like in the Championship. It's like, how many other teams in the Championship have got that?
Yeah.
None, I don't think.
No, exactly that. And it's time now, I think, to have the highlights back from Stoke. Take a look at these.
Good move here by Norwich City as Pukki's taken out, but gives it to, the ball is into Emi Buendia, who plays it in and has scored. Emi Buendia, the ball through. Teemu Pukki is still lying down, but Norwich City are a goal up. 17 minutes gone. It's Stoke 0, Norwich 1. Martin, cushioned ball down for Skip, who gets a bit lucky there, and then there's a great ball over the top by Buendia. And Pukki's on his bike for this one. Shot by Teemu Pukki, and it's into the back corner. What a goal by Teemu Pukki. It's Stoke 0, Norwich 2. Yeah, got to make sure they don't do anything silly though. Although Tetty's done well to get a ball who's threaded it through to Teemu Pukki. 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, goes round him, keeper gets a bit of it. Teemu Pukki puts it into an empty net, and that is 3-0 to Norwich City. You know, these freak injuries that have been happening for Norwich City, you don't want another one to happen when you're 3-0 up, but we will find out shortly. As there's a bit of a high foot from Emi Buendia, who could be in trouble here. This might change things. A high foot from Emi Buendia, who's already on a yellow card, and he's gone. That's a red card for Emi Buendia. What are they going to do? Has that affected their plans as they're defending at the moment? Our Norwich City ball comes in, and there's a header, and it's Campbell inside the box, and there you go. That's how quickly things change in football. 69 minutes gone. It's Stoke 1, Norwich 3. Ball comes straight in, and it's in already. And I'm not sure who got the final touch, but Stoke are within a goal of Norwich City. It's now Stoke 2, Norwich 3.
We're saying again about 2 halves, Rob. That was a game of 70 minutes and 20 minutes, wasn't it, really? And of course, Teemu Pukki's on fire at the moment, and we can see one of his goals here from the other night, and he's banging form. You know, when you're playing with someone like Buendia, he's already on the move before that ball was played, and that's the difference in it. He's not reactive, he's proactive. Teemu Pukki, he makes the runs.
Absolutely, Teemu Pukki makes great runs. You know what I mean? Like I say, he's very rarely offside and whatever. Like, but what Teemu Pukki needs more balls like Emi Buendia then. You know what I mean? It was in his own half, it was like a 30-yard ball, split the defence. Teemu Pukki's on them. You know what I mean? When the game condenses and there's small passes up to him, it becomes more difficult. If there's space beyond the defence, Teemu Pukki, like he creates chances himself by making them great runs.
Yeah, and we've mentioned there numerous times about Emi Buendia, the good and the bad of Emi, and someone has also been very vocal about him is Darren Huckabee, who's joining us now. Hux, you know, we have to clear this up because, like you, I look at social media and people say to us, why are they digging out Buendia on NR1 Live and why are they talking about him a lot? It's not because he's a bad player, it's because we expect better of him in those situations, because it's not just about the Stoke game. He should be out here today.
It's because he's our best player. No, he's our best player, most creative player in the Championship when he's on form. You know, the fact that he gets sent off for 2 silly challenges, really. You know, we're 3-0 up, and it should be Stoke kicking him and getting players sent off because he's that good. In the end, we lose him today, but not just that, we've lost Pukki now, and obviously he's lost Tim Krul, so, you know, you can't afford to lose 3 great players and expect to, you know, be your best. So it's going to be tough today. It's going to be tough, but, you know, looking at the Coventry tweets, they're not happy about their team they put out, so it's going to be interesting.
Oh, look, we've got Stiepermann up front today. Is someone who's kind of filling in a gap, I presume. I mean, do you think that's the kind of right way to go? Because I can't imagine he's going to be as dynamic in terms of his movement as Pukki is. So he's going to be more of a hold-up man, I guess. And then you're going to have Josh Martin and Placheta playing off him, perhaps.
Yeah, you know, he's going to be a different kind of centre forward to Pukki. He's obviously not going to make any balls, runs in behind. But like Rob said, he's got to hold the ball up. That's the reason he's there. You know, he don't look the type who's going to be able to bring the ball down and bring people in. So it's going to be very interesting how we adapt and how we get the forward players moving. Like I said, defensively we look pretty sound. It's just creating chances might be the problem today.
Do you think Stiepermann's going to likely sit into a hole, almost, I mean, comparing to someone like a Harry Kane, but that kind of number 9 that drops right off and then has those runners through in terms of Placheta and Josh Martin? Because I can't, as I say, he's not going to stand there and lead the line. He's not going to run in behind. He's probably going to want to drop, isn't he, and get those runners off him like Harry Kane does.
Yeah, I think he'll be pretty uncomfortable running in behind and, you know, being a target man. So like you say, he'll probably play to his strengths, probably drop a little bit deeper and maybe get the lads around him running in behind. I think that's the only way we can attack, really. You know, Josh Martin had a good game the other day, so he's got to continue that. And Placheta's really got to be our main outlet with his pace and power, and hopefully he can create a few chances.
You're spot on there with Josh Martin. I think me and Rob were just talking about that, about how actually he kind of went under the radar a little bit, how good his performance was because of everything else that followed. But, you know, he was creative, he was always busy on the pitch. And for someone who's making his debut, or his full debut essentially, that was a really good performance in a tough game. Yeah,
how you think about it, he looked like a player that had been there, played 50 games instead of his first game. So that just shows you what impact he had on the game. But like I said, it's just one game, so now it's a different kettle of fish today, different problems. You know, Coventry are probably going to sit in and be a little bit deeper and just try and hit us on the break. So it's going to be interesting to see how we, you know, break them down, especially with the players we're missing. Like I said, Buendia's the best creative player in the Championship. Pukki's the best centre forward in the Championship. So losing them two is a big ask today.
Yeah, we can have a look now. I don't know if you can see the form guide, Hux, of the two teams, but Norwich City obviously unbeaten in 9 now. Coventry, they've had a couple of decent wins along the way, but they've had some really different form. They haven't done particularly well since they've come up, but you know Coventry very well. I mean, they're just pleased to be back in the Championship, aren't they, considering the history that they've had in recent years. And you've been very vocal and advocate for their success and want them to improve and actually the kind of set up behind the club, because Coventry was always seen as a club like Norwich, wasn't it? Yet they've kind of gone in different directions. Yeah,
it's strange. When I was there, they've been in the Premier League for 35 years on the trot. So, this is a different Coventry City, different aspirations, different targets. They'll be looking just to stay up this year. So, even though we've got a few players missing, we should really be dominating today and hopefully getting 3 points.
Yeah, and you talk defensively, the Hawks as well. We said about it before, that they're still fairly strong, Norwich, at the back, so you still can't see Norwich conceding that many goals today. It's just whether they can get any going forward.
Yeah, especially the box in front of the goalkeeper. The two centre halves plus the two City midfielders in front. They're as strong as you're going to get in any Championship team. So, they're going to be very astute. They're not going to let people run off them. If we could win this game 1-0, I think the manager will take that. But it's still going to be a difficult task. And like I say, the games are coming thick and fast, and really we can't afford to get any more injuries, because then, God knows, we might all be on the bench if it carries on like this.
Well, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but there's me, Rob, you and Ads there today. I think actually they've only got 6 on the bench, considering they're allowed 9 or 10, whatever it is now. Have you brought your boots, Hux?
I've got them in the car, but like I said, we must be really past it if they're not even thinking about putting us on the bench.
Top man, mate. Enjoy the game. We'll see you at half time.
Brilliant.
he's done enough. Yeah, I mean, looking back, and we talk back onto Coventry now, and looking at players who have stepped into management, and looking back in that team that we played, and we talked about it earlier. There was Gunny, Culverhouse, Bowen, Butterworth. I've got a list down here: Crook, Megson, yourself. You know, all have stepped into management. That's a lot of people who have been involved around management as well. And now, is there anybody else you thought might have done? The obvious one would be Mark Robbins. Did you think he would be a? Did you always see him as a manager?
Not really.
No. Why not?
I don't know. Not really. But don't get me wrong. He's a great player. He's a great player to play. Great goal scorer. You know what I mean? And like I say, he was one of them ones that sort of like kept himself to himself. Really. You know what I mean? He wasn't too sort of like outgoing or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Just lived for football. Really.
Yeah.
Boring.
But he scored. Boring. Love that. Tell him that. But look, he didn't just score goals. No. Take a little look at this. See what else he did.
The match was settled on the stroke of half-time when Wednesday were caught out by a Robbins cross, and Rob Newman virtually unchallenged as he bulleted a header past Woods.
And Newman virtually unchallenged. This is a free header, wasn't it?
Don't worry
to be
about
fair,
it.
it's a big target.
That was
a big target.
That was a late run in the box, to be fair, and I made a poor cross, good there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I say, but like I say, Robbo, you know, I mean, he was that such a good player. I mean, he could play all across the front line because he had to, because he's not the biggest and whatever. Like, you know what I mean, but mate, great header.
But that's the opportunity again. Look, we take about players who are stepping up and moving into positions where they needed to get goals at different parts of the games. Yeah. That's what Stephen can do today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And to be fair, I never even thought about it. What you said earlier about him dropping, you know what I mean? Martin and Plachetta are quick. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if they do drop and they make those darting runs in from out to in, but they've got to come from out to in, those little balls that if a centre half goes with Stephen and deep. Listen, they would have known Pookie wasn't playing after Tuesday's game. So you'd like to think they would have been doing some homework on the training pitch yesterday and the day before and whatever, like when they recovered, that to sort of like maybe we'll see in the game today like a little game plan that, you know what I mean, hopefully will work.
Yeah, and you seem to enjoy that goal you scored there, Rob, didn't you? Well, I think there was a pre-match or post-match interview we might have here. Rob talking about it. Take a look at this.
This season you've learned how to win games when you're not necessarily playing at your best.
Oh, I think that's a fair comment. The managers jumped into us that, you know, a game is for 90 minutes and, you know, it only takes a second to score a goal. And, you know, it's shown in previous games. I think this is the first game where we've been in front. You know, and in the past we've gone behind. We've believed in ourselves, shown tremendous character to battle back, and you know we've got the just rewards.
And clear daylight at the top of the table now.
It's nice, isn't it? You know, we're just sitting there. We're not only leading it, we're pulling away now. We can't believe it. But yeah, we're just thriving on it at the moment. Like it's great getting all the attention and all that for a little club. So perhaps people will keep on saying good things about us. And you know, it's just down to us to keep playing like we are playing. And you know, okay, we are getting breaks, but you know, I think we're playing not bad football as well.
Mate, wow. Whose voice were you using there? How old are you then?
I don't know. I was probably 26, 27.
Hey, whose voice were you using? It doesn't sound like you, does it?
No,
and you said about Norwich being a little club. I mean, defend yourself.
No, I never said. Did I say it was a little club?
You did say you said a little club. You're definitely in there.
People
mate.
talk about it as a little club. Did I not say that? That's what
you said for a little club. Or were you being ironic?
Ironic. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Okay. Ironic. No, but it was like I say, it was a poor interview. To be fair, looking back at that, you know what I mean. But it was a great header. Yeah, I mean, if I say so myself, it was a great header. You know what I mean? You always.
You are going to say it
when
yourself,
you don't score that many goals, but I probably scored more than you. Did I score more than you?
No, how many did you get?
In Norwich, I think I scored about 50.
You get 50 goals in Norwich. No. You didn't make 50 appearances, did you?
Maybe.
Anyway,
what's Joe doing
let's
today?
Get on to yeah, Joe, get on that way. But also, let's have a look back, and Huck's touched on a little bit about Coventry of the past, because when Norwich and Coventry were both playing in the top leagues years ago, they were seen as very similar clubs, weren't they? Clubs that players went to, that reignited their careers and did well. Yeah. I mean, it's changed massively for both clubs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember, they played in like the FA Cup final. Famous, it was in Tottenham, I think, and whatever. Some great players as well, didn't they? And like I say, they're similar size, and I think the structure of the club are very similar as well. And like I say, but Norwich have kicked on. Coventry is still behind Norwich. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? Like I say, but they're growing back in. Like I said, with Robbo in charge, he seems to be doing a good job. Norwich are ahead of them at the moment, so Norwich is probably stabilising the club and trying to bring them up, sort of like trying to sustain themselves in the Championship and then look at it in the next 2 or 3 years. Norwich are looking to go straight back. That's why Norwich are in front of Coventry at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just being told in my ear, Rob, I think you scored 14 goals for Norwich and I scored 39, so not that close.
Okay. Really? Next one, let's talk careers.
All right. What appearances? What, League 2 did you play in or League 1? What were you playing in?
There must be something I must win.
height. Headers. How many headers did you score? You must have scored a few headers in your career. I only scored about 2 or 3.
Joe will never find that.
No, she'll never find that. Yeah. Well, look, we can have a little look at a head-to-head here of Daniel Farke and Mark Robins, of course, both managers from today's game. And you can you look at Mark Robins there, and he doesn't look happy, does he? He looks a bit grumpy.
He was miserable.
Yeah, but his record's pretty good as a manager.
Yeah, and
he's been about a bit for a while now as well.
And bearing in mind, mate, you mean like say he served under Alex Ferguson, like one of the best. Yeah, I mean, he saved his job.
Well, there was a big. He scored a goal in the FA Cup, didn't he? Arguably kept.
Yeah, absolutely. And you probably look at the Man United team of that sort of like era. Yeah, I mean, how many's been successful manager? There ain't many, is there? They've tried it, and you think, wow, you know what I mean? There's some good
bit
players.
like the list I was saying earlier. All tried it,
isn't it? But like they were the team then. You know what I mean? So Robbo's probably one of the most successful, if not the most successful. Maybe Steve Bruce, all right. Yeah. But Robbo's up there with the best, and like I say, he's doing it in a way where he's going slowly and slowly and slowly. And if he does well here, he will get one of those top jobs. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he's still young enough. But like I say, he's got a lot of experience to give to the teams he manages.
Yeah. And today's game on a whole, what are we looking at? Norwich win?
Yeah, I'd love a Norwich win. If we were sitting here in 90 minutes, after 90 minutes, and we're talking about a draw, I'd take that today as well. You know what I mean? Because they've earned like a little draw from the away wins they've had. Like, I mean, as long as they don't get beat today, you just want the unbeaten run to carry on.
Yeah, well, I still see it as 3 points, Rob.
Yeah,
for me.
Oh, no, I'm not saying we're not going to win, but I'm just saying, listen, don't put yourself under pressure.
Okay, well, fantastic. I think we're just about to observe a minute's silence as well to enjoy the game. And of course, if there was ever a player that deserved a world silence, it's Diego Maradona. Enjoy the game.
Swimming at night, she been calling to me. Hold my breath in the pool, but she been underwater in the Indian Sea. I've been doing it right, can't forget what she said. When you finish with you, baby, you should come and find me in the Sea of Cortez. The weight of my heart is the weight of the sea. Living a dream. There's a blanket of cool water. She's been cultivated in the space in between. Could be chasing a ghost, another crease in the waves. With all the truth in my blue colors, she just give me something I could never replace. No way.